What's going on, everybody? Welcome to our review of the Elimination Chamber 2014. My name is El De Niro, you're listening to WWP, and I'm joined by my co-host from Parts Unknown and the Bronx, the notorious MIG.
Hello, everyone. Yo. Funny you said that. Do you remember Psycho Sid?
Absolutely, I do.
When he was in WCW, the announcer used to be like, wherever the hell he pleases.
Oh, that's
not even
great.
That's not. No. It's not. I'm sorry. It's not. How is that possible? You can't be from where you please. You just have to be from somewhere.
It's 2018. You're allowed to identify as whatever you want, and therefore you're allowed to be from wherever you want to be from.
Geography fluid.
Yeah. I'm GeoFlu, so
yeah, I'm actually from this hemisphere.
Yeah.
So get it right. Fair enough. Well, that's that settled. So Sid was a bit of an innovator.
Yeah, he was way ahead of his time. You just didn't get it, man, because you thought he was a radical lefty.
Yeah. The often unheard geography politics that
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool. His fluidity from city to city was incredible. How are you today? How's it going?
That really runs along some kind of rhyming scheme, like from city to city, geofluidity. I don't know.
It's a start. A start.
It is. Yeah, the pieces are there. We just need some more things, and we might have a track. So I know you asked how I was, but I don't think the audience cares.
I do, though.
Are you
good? Are you well?
I'm fresh off revisiting this pay-per-view, and also I'm excited to get back to our main storyline thing, because the Daniel Bryan, the Yes Movement is like a thing we were in the middle of, and the viewers were responding really favorably to it. I say viewers, I mean listeners, whatever. And that was great. And then WrestleMania happened, so things got a little bit
stupid
chaotic.
WrestleMania.
Yeah, and the
getting in the way.
Like, in retrospect, it was a really bad idea for us to dedicate as much energy to the Greatest Rumble as we did.
Yeah, they fucking didn't.
Yeah.
Nor did the Sheiks in the front row.
Yeah, exactly.
So, out of everyone, we probably the people that gave a shit about it the most.
Yeah, so I think in future our live timeline of reviews may be just restricted to the big four and then the odd. Like, we might do Money in the Bank or something, the specialist type ones, but
yeah. Agreed.
Beyond that, I don't really think I have the energy to be coming home from work to watch, 5 hours of Saudi sheiks ignoring the thing in front of them. But it's good to be like this event. It's not the finest event of 2014, but there were some good highs from it. There were several lows. But it's kind of, I don't know about you, but I find it a lot more interesting to watch slightly older things, because I think you can take in more of the context. And
agreed.
It's more interesting from a reviewer's point of view. And this is February 2014, so over 4 years ago, from the Target Center in Minneapolis, to an audience of 14,101 people.
Got a lot to say about this one, and none of it's very, very positive. Well, some of it's positive. This is the curse of doing recent events. It's like the highs are very good and high, but then the lows are like, oh god. Like, there's a bunch of things that happen here that had no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
And we'll get to those. I mean, one of them is a dude interrupting every single match to just spout some shit.
Oh my god, did I have a lot of negative things to say about that.
Right? And none of it's very good. So yeah, we get the usual, dreams will be fulfilled, and who's gonna go to WrestleMania? Is it Christian? Is it Cesaro?
Will it be Albert?
Will it be Test?
What's interesting about these little vignettes at the start of these, right? This one, you could cut this out, and you could put this at the front of the Royal Rumble. It would make no difference. You could put it at the front of fucking Money in the Bank. Yeah, yes. It would make no difference. Survivor Series, SummerSlam, any of them. This is just bog standard, trying to create stakes where there are none. I should have made some kind of pun there, trying to create steak where there's no peppercorn sauce or something like that. But you know what I mean? It's just some bullshit. And it's who will be the champion of champions and all of this. I think I've said this before, but I think the placement of the Elimination Chamber as the go home show, the go home pay per view before WrestleMania,
Horrible.
is stupid. And as Michael Cole says, the final stop on the road to WrestleMania, which, as I've said before as well, it is not. The final stop on the road to WrestleMania is WrestleMania. That's how stops work. So,
Dude, they can't even get anniversaries right.
I
'Cause
know.
we're on 25, like, the 25th anniversary. Well, it's not, it's the 24th. Unless there was WrestleMania 0. And
yeah, it's the 25th.
wait.
Yeah, no, it's the second anniversary of WrestleMania 23.
There
So.
we go. That will be the ultimate hashtag and the ultimate promotional tool.
For
Yeah,
anyone,
straight in.
for anyone who had a chuckle at that joke, that's Miguel's joke. I stole that from him. That's what he says about his birthday every year. So,
Yeah,
anyway.
and no, do you know what's weird though? Like, not a lot of people get that joke.
Really?
So yeah, you'll be like, oh, it's the first or the 20 whatever birthday of my. You work a way around to creating the number you actually are.
Yeah.
And it's just a pause in silence, and you're like, I probably have to say how old I am now.
That's one of my favorite types of jokes to make though, because it's like what you're saying is true. You've just said it in such a weirdly contrived way. Like I had this tweet one time, and it was like over 75% of Premier League games kick off when the score is 0-0, right? Now, obviously, 100% of them kick off when it's 0-0. That's the score at the start of every single game. But if you say over 75%, it's true, but it's totally misleading. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it makes you want to look it up and go, which games start off 3-3?
Wayne
Yeah, 'cause
Rooney
it's
earns over £1,000 a month. Right?
He does, yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, many more thousand. Yeah, bankroll. No, so I just quickly on this though. What'd you make of this music? The fucking song was horrible.
It's Nero, isn't it? This is the one that was Nero from their Welcome Reality album.
Yeah, it was like Doomsday.
Yeah, Doomsday. That's right. So I will say, in their defense, that at the time, that album was pretty highly regarded. A lot of people were really into Nero. I had the album, wasn't really my cup of tea, but that whole like dub drop wobby sound
Skrillex
stuff, yeah, that was like, at the height of, like, I mean, we could just easily go back to 2003 and be like, so do you think Build a Bridge by Limp Bizkit was the appropriate song?
Try Crack Addict, mate.
Yeah, well, that's obviously a legitimately great song, so that doesn't count. But yeah, it's very weird, especially the way that the song has no lyrics. It's just a wob 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 wob.
Yeah, yeah. It goes in from like the bit just after the drop, and then it just continues on that bit. They just played it too many times. I found it annoying, and of course, two key things to remember here: the network is 1 day away at this point in time. And this is the first post CM Punk pay-per-view as well.
Yeah, and boy did that show.
Yeah, there was a void.
There certainly fucking was. A void that the crowd did their best to fill with chants of CM Punk.
Yes.
There was the crowd
it was
actually
throughout the whole night, wasn't it?
Yeah. There's a lot to say about the crowd at this event, which is pretty interesting, I think. But
do you feel like it's kind of a, I know we left it off a little while now, what with the recent mini season of, current events, but like this picks up from where the Rumble left off in terms of crowds.
It totally does. And one thing I noticed was that the crowd is incredibly unified in a way that they're actually not anymore. I feel like at this point the crowd had understood exactly what they didn't like about the booking, and that was fine. So they booed or cheered accordingly. Whereas now there's all these fragments of different levels of dissatisfaction that people have, so no one's really sure. They can all unite around the fact that they don't like Roman Reigns, but they can't really agree on a whole lot else. And that's pretty interesting. But at this event, the dissatisfaction was palpable, and the reasons why were obvious. And I just found that incredibly interesting, because I think that this crowd, while I kind of hate a lot of them, they made the event very vibrant, and they actually did play a really important part in the matches, both in terms of good and bad. So
well, they picked their side and who they liked and didn't like,
yeah,
which is fine. What I'm trying to think of maybe with the reasons why today it gets a little bit more muddy. Is it Twitter? Is it the fact that everyone thinks they have an equal amount and each seat at the table? It could be because now you're now getting it's almost like we're in the, you have like modernism, then you have postmodernism, so you have the anti-Roman, and now you're like post-anti-Roman, so you're kind of just like, I'm gonna boo him. I think you tweeted this at some point. I'm gonna boo him so I can get to the writers.
No. I'm gonna boo him so I can trigger the writers.
Yeah, so it's gone meta.
It's just that is such a fucking bizarre thing for, like, I love The Walking Dead, but I constantly send death threats to the makers of it just to make them angry.
Just so they know that, if they kill Daryl, I'm gonna kill you. Yeah, it makes no sense, because, crazy. Pick any show, but like, since you said Walking Dead, it's like, I'm not gonna sit there and go, I'm gonna send, you're right, send loads of letters of complaint about Stephen Ogg, Simon on the show, because I think his character's being miswritten, and the dude that made The Walking Dead is over the hill and old and confused, but I really like the rest of the show, but for some reason, this old billionaire man is only very confused and very specific tidbits. It makes no sense. It's gone too far, and one day, everyone who's doing this, just as they did for Cena, they're gonna look back and go, was it that bad?
Yeah, I agree.
Or was it this big negative cloud that I walk around with? This Roman Reigns. Fuck you! There, I said it in front of a little child at a pay-per-view. Fuck you!
Yeah.
Oh man, you sure laid it on him. Right, should we go in for this? Straight in.
Yeah, let's do it. So we start off with which is the only good thing about Jack Swagger, and that is his music.
Except Coulter.
Except Coulter has an absolutely sensational monologue here at the start, and he says, this is actually really good, like genuinely good, because it's so fucking retarded. He says that Big E is a terrible intercontinental champion, and he asks the crowd to name one thing that Big E has done to positively affect our continent. Things have gotten progressively worse in the 3 months that he's been champion.
The Dow Jones, the stock market.
Right. He goes, we have illegals sneaking and leaking across our borders like a sieve, and now we have a polar vortex. Coincidence? I think not. This is amazing. This is just like, it's Big E, as Big E is now a champion that has to be reflected on multiple continents, intercontinental champion. It's his job to keep the immigrants from crossing the border. What the fuck?
You get the belt, and you also get like basically a front row ticket to the fucking border, and you just sit there.
Well, I think you have to take it upon yourself to do that. That's what holding the title is. It's that you
and he hasn't done it.
Yeah, no, he hasn't done anything other than appear at a few wrestling events to defend his belt. So,
did you notice JBL as well? He starts to agree with them.
Yeah,
the immigrants aren't coming, and then he catches himself, and he's like, in Zeb's mind, I'm not to be associated, even though JBL, you can look this up, he had like a segment when he was feuding with Eddie Guerrero, and he went to the board and started like kicking what presumably is Mexican people in the bum and sent them back.
Jesus Christ. It's weird, but every single time someone had a feud with Eddie Guerrero, it always came back to the fact that he was Mexican. Like, remember Cena did that rap where he was like, I hate you for 2 words, illegal immigration.
Yeah, and The Rock, when he's like, ay, arriba, ay, arriba.
Yeah, man, like...
I mean, it's funny, but, like, is it, though?
We have one of the top 5 greatest, like, all-around performers in history. Let's just reduce him to his country of origin. And not only that, but Eddie Guerrero was born in America, so...
Yeah, he's from El Paso.
Yeah.
Not only that, but it's like, look at Dean, look at Benoit, look at Jericho, like those lads that all came in at that time. I don't remember them doing that about the other lads being Canadian too much. Yeah, it's weird because obviously Eddie played up to it. Like I'm sure
definitely.
he was aware that he was like, I'm playing a bit of a stereotype, and wrestling is mainly about stereotypes. I get that, but like they didn't just subtly do it; they beat you around the head with it. Didn't they?
Yeah. There was no getting away from it.
Yeah, the man couldn't finish a sentence without being like, Vato loco, amigos. It's like, dude, I mean, Mysterio, I know you'd give him a bit of guff, but Mysterio never spoke like that.
Wait till you fucking hear what I have to say about his fucking idiotic comment later on in the show.
Yes, he is featured on the panel
Yeah.
of Miz, Mark Henry, and Mysterio.
Oh
So yeah,
man, yeah, and that's one of the worst panel segments and it's not really any of their
we'll
faults.
get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. It is well, okay, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Big E comes out with a bunch of cocaine in his hands.
That's right.
What was
He
this?
comes out with a submachine gun and cocaine in his nose, and he says, "You cockroaches want to play rough."
Is your continent defending? Gets a mixed reaction, I thought.
Yeah, he definitely did. It's strange because I do remember, like, I watched this live at the time, and I was very active in the old IWC at the time, much more so than I am now, which is weird because now I have a podcast. But Big E had momentum behind him. People wanted him to succeed, and people did see him as a future champ. I think people just thought that he never quite got out of Dolph Ziggler's shadow at the time, because again, you have to remember 4 years ago, Ziggler was actually very, very popular. So
So popular he wasn't even on this show.
he wasn't on the show, but he got plenty of chance later on.
Yeah. Weird.
Um,
So we have a kind of standard back and forth match. Bit of a rough spot when he spears him on the stairs. I
yeah,
was like, shit, that didn't look good.
I
Like
actually,
that looked actually very painful. That sort of bad, I guess.
I think I'm really not a fan of Swagger at all, but I don't think he's terrible. And I think Big E is quite good, but there was something about these two that they just didn't really rub off each other very well. And I don't think it was bad chemistry or anything. It's just I don't know, but it's really weird when you see a guy like Big E trying a quick roll up on Swagger. They're
I think
just
Swag had a bad rep because he fucked people up.
he
He's
certainly
very
did.
very stiff. Yeah. So I don't know if he's like the most comfortable person to work with, I guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't say so. There's something a bit odd about him, isn't there? Like he had the look and definitely has the talent, but just never quite seemed to put it all together, I suppose.
He was bleeding from the mouth at one point, and Lawler was like, "Oh, he doesn't need that with a speech impediment. Why bury him like that? Like, why would you do that? Like, just don't bring. I mean, because Vince McMahon, his favorite thing is speech impediment. By the way,
That
nothing makes him laugh more than speech impediments.
I see your speech impediments and I raise you little people. He loves little people as well.
Yes, little people, speech impediments, and fart jokes and poop jokes.
Yeah.
But like, so that was clearly from Lawler to Vince, and that's why Lawler has a job and will always have a
because
job.
Lawler will bury anybody.
He had to make his boss laugh.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck.
Does Zeb Coulter know that he's managing a man from Switzerland? At all? Is he aware of this?
This is the really fucking stupid thing about Zeb Coulter is that he's very obviously a caricature of your average like Fox News viewer or whatever, and like that's great and all of that, and comparing the conflating the illegals coming across the border with the polar vortex is such a like. There's always a fucking headline of there's some guy with a PhD who's like, yes, the gays are causing global warming and that kind of thing, and that's what Zeb Coulter is doing. And like they kind of had a home run with that character because it's a legit assessment from a satirical standpoint of a certain type of American. But then they fucking make him work with. He worked with 3 different people, right? One of them was American, the other was Swiss, and the other was Mexican. It makes no fucking sense at all. Like, and you know that there's no nuance or reasoning behind it. It's just what's this guy doing? Fucking put him with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's not some like. Again, some clever thing where it's like, oh, you see, he preaches all that shit, but even he knows that, like, the foreign wrestlers are also quite good to get behind.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's just like, you're with Del Rio now. Both of them were like, the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Which he obviously soured Del Rio on his comeback. Not that he need any reasons to be disliked, but obviously he was, he came in, he was very unhappy, and now he's scum. I think that's safe to say, allegedly. Unallegedly.
I will
whatever.
just straight up say he's scum.
Yeah, he is scum. So, just have a lot of back and forth. Very stiff, these dudes.
Yeah.
You get a spear through the ropes as well. Holy shit chance, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Big ending. 1, 2, 3. Start off a bit slow, but by sort of 2014 standards, like this ain't no Miz, Seth Rollins, and Balor, but like I thought it was enjoyable. Wasn't too bored with it,
I was a little bit bored.
Beginning, middle, or end, or just throughout.
I think the middle was a little bit of a fucking, what do you call that thing when it's just really hard to watch, like a slog. I think the middle was a
Like
little bit of a slog.
WWE.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it was a little bit WWE this one.
It was, yeah. It could
Yeah.
have been a lot quicker. I feel like if this match happened on on Nitro in '96, you would have gotten a much better performance from both guys.
Yes, agreed. I mean, because there's no way to quantify that any way, shape, and
But
form.
we all know it's objectively
But
true.
it's true. Yeah, yeah. So Big E's celebrating, and then we hear someone else's music.
This is the most fucking.
What is this? What
I,
is happening?
and you know what's weird is that I remember at the time, like, marking out a little bit for this and being like, yes! So for those of you who haven't watched the event, Bad News Barrett's music hits, and he rises from the ground on this huge podium and bangs his hammer and says, I'm afraid
Fucking
I've got
gavel.
some bad news. And he rants about Russia winning more gold medals than
Yes.
America at the Olympic Games. And I have written 3 words to summarize it. Utterly pointless segment. Would you agree?
He was like, I mean, it only goes up once because the stage, the podium fucks up. So
Yeah.
he comes. Well, spoiler alert, he'll be back later. But yeah, it was really weird. He's like, but the way, and then I don't understand any of this. Why was he up on the podium? Why was he talking about the Olympics in fucking February? I'm guessing it's the Winter Olympics.
It
Then.
was the Winter Olympics in Sochi, I think.
Oh, okay. And he was like, it will show that it's European glory. Everyone's
Yeah.
like, okay, we didn't really care, or we're aware of this and we don't care, or we just don't fucking care. And I thought that was the end of it. I thought, well, he's done.
I
He's fucked off.
I think they gave him this segment because he didn't have a lot going on in the ring, let's be honest. I know a lot of people will think like that Wade Barrett was this like amazing potential that was wasted and ruined because of John Cena. The reality is he just wasn't that exciting of an in-ring performer, like a little bit like Cody Rhodes in the sense that he's just very good technically, but it just wasn't working in WWE for a whole variety of reasons. His finisher was fucking atrocious, and
Yeah.
I don't think he got his charisma into his character very well. So they gave him this segment. I think they wanted to keep him out of the ring as well because he got injured for 8 months after every
Frequently
fucking
as
match
well.
that he had. So I remember at the time being like, this is great. Oh, Bad News Barrett, it's so good. This is such a good thing. I'm going to make this into... And I'm looking at it now and I'm like, this is just fucking annoying and stupid and makes no sense. And Wade Barrett is fine, but the segment was not as funny as I thought it was at the time.
Same. Yeah, because he's kind of being a troll, and I mean, don't get me wrong, he does eventually get over with this gimmick about half a year from now, and it's like, yeah, okay, but like this is when it's in its infancy, and it's just like, this is just bad because it's not even.
Garbage.
Yeah, just do the classic. Just like insult the whatever sports team is in the city you're at, or compare them to a city that's far better, or just be like, there's a World Cup in the summer and you're all fucking awful.
Yeah.
You know, like England are great, but he could just be like, the winner's definitely going to be someone from Europe. Germany.
Yeah.
But whatever. So yeah, you get a little recap here as well coming up next. Christian versus Bryan, which is a match I never thought it actually happened.
Did you? So they show the clip, right, of Bryan versus Christian, and then Kane comes in and beats the fuck out of Daniel Bryan, who is already injured, and then it cuts to SmackDown, where Bryan is in the ring against, is it Cesaro?
It's Cesaro, yeah.
And Kane again beats the shit out of Daniel Bryan, and they're really clearly painting him in this underdog light, and then it cuts to an interview with Daniel Bryan. And I don't know about you, but this really reminded me of Stone Cold Steve Austin circa 1998. Like, to be cutting to him in the middle of the pay-per-view this much and showing that much footage and just really driving home that idea that he's the underdog. You know, at the time everybody thought there's no way they're going to let Daniel Bryan do this thing. they have completely overlooked him. The whole thing about him being a B plus player is that's all that's true. That's not actually kayfabe. I think that they worked everybody pretty hard.
Kind of makes you wonder about what's going on now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It totally does. Like I've said numerous times that I always believe that the Fed knows what they're doing, even when I know that they don't always get it right. Of course.
Well, they do know more than you give them credit for. Not you as a new, but people give them credit for because they do book it.
They do know more than Terry, 36, a taxi driver in London.
Yeah. So this is the bit I don't get. Don't get me wrong. Wrestling often doesn't get it right, but when it does get it right, it's the reason why everyone watches week in and month out.
Exactly.
It's fucking amazing. With this, I didn't even think about that till you just said it then, that he was the first person they featured in that main event. Not only that, they did, like you mentioned, like the whole, I remember Stone Cold versus like Undertaker, and they'd be like, listen, Stone Cold was attacked before the match.
Yeah, here's footage from Sunday Night Heat where Stone Cold was put in a cage match against Mark Henry, like stuff like that.
Yeah, it wasn't it wasn't Orton, it wasn't Cena, it wasn't Christian, it wasn't Cesaro, it wasn't Sheamus. It went straight to Bryan.
Yeah.
Just a quick note on Byron Saxton. He's not aged a fucking day, has he?
No.
He looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
As he did now. So what's your mindset? My mindset is my shoulder really hurts, but I don't care. And yes.
Yeah, and it's a badass promo too. He's like, it's gonna hurt. I'm gonna get beat. It's gonna fucking sting, but I have to keep doing this. I'm gonna be held down. No one's gonna believe me, but I'm gonna be the guy who does the thing.
I was in overalls a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
I think I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I've gone through a lot of mental trauma, so my shoulder hurting is not really a big deal. I used to be like, you can literally like, dude, I used to be in a cult. Like,
Yeah.
have you seen those guys? Have you seen their? I was with them.
Yeah.
And look at me now. Like, yeah, my shoulder hurts, but at least I'm not, sat around with a fucking lantern in the dark.
Yeah.
Oh god, here they come. The New Age Outlaws.
Hey, I've got a zinger right here.
Go on.
The Old Aged Outlaws.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Revolutionary.
Yeah,
whoa,
it.
man, fucking revolutionary,
That's right.
man.
Yeah, and if you ain't down with that, I got 2 words for you. PG era.
PG era. Did you notice as well that like when they came out? What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. I when they were coming out, I wrote this down. I was like, I bet Billy Gunn thinks he might get a singles run out of this at some point. Like, I bet he's there, like working out, being like, yeah, guys, if you want to pick up from that King of the Ring in '99, I'm your man. And they said they made event of WrestleMania.
Do you know what bothers me, right? So you know what Antonio Conte, the Chelsea manager, okay? He has a full head of hair, a full lively head of hair on him. If anyone doesn't watch football or whatever, just Google Antonio Conte.
He's had a hair transplant though, right?
Yeah. So go back to like fucking 96 Conte, and the dude is just completely balding, and it's really not graceful at all. So he had a hair transplant. Now he looks fantastic. Cesc Fabregas, same thing. There are numerous examples
Rooney,
of this happening.
not the same thing.
Well, that's because Wayne Rooney is the only person in the world whose head is shaped that way.
Yeah, it's more like a shape rather than like he's got hair. He's got hair there now.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So anyway, Billy Gunn is just not fucking wearing what's left of his hair very well. And he is at a stage where it just needs to be shaved or get a hair transplant done. And I feel like I am going to go bald at an early age. So this is an issue I take very, very seriously, and I do not make fun of people who are going bald, because that's just not a cool
worst
thing
nightmare.
to do. Yeah.
I feel like if you do make fun of someone for that, it happens to you.
Yeah.
Even though it's male pattern baldness, and it's just like you
It's
just get on your adult. I'm like, if I keep saying this to someone or point it out, one day it's gonna happen to me, and I'll feel twice as bad because I'll be thinking, well, I used to point that shit out.
Well, let me tell you this, Miguel.
People are gonna do it back to me.
I am 100% going to Turkey with €2,800 in about 5 years to get a hair transplant if I notice that my hairline has receded by a millimeter, right? I'm putting money aside for that. That's a thing that I'm definitely going to do, right? Billy Gunn's like 50. He's probably got a couple million in the bank. Like, fucking sort it out. Like,
I'd probably say he's got a couple of hundy in the bank. I don't think he's in the millions anymore. I think that's all been blown on other shit.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's far too much forehead, isn't it?
It
It's
is.
just
Oh, it's bad. It's a 7
yeah,
or 8 head at this stage.
it is. It's I mean, Undertaker can get away with it because he's the Undertaker, but even he's a bit like, ooh.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
talking 2018 Taker, not this time period.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's quite bad at this point. Oh no, because this is the WrestleMania where he's got the shaved head.
No, that's the one before, isn't it?
No, it's this one, 2014, because it's the streak. This is the one.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
The one in 21,
That's
as a
right.
matter of fact.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is when he's got like the I used to be in the Ministry of Darkness sort of goatee.
Yeah.
I'm cool now because I shaved my head. Yeah, so they come out and they say they main evented MSG and WrestleMania. I think they did main event MSG, like a fucking house show or some shit, but they definitely did not main event. What WrestleMania is going to be like, yeah.
What was the one that, was it WrestleMania 20 where Benoit won the title? It was that one.
Oh, yeah, it was Shawn versus Hunter versus the New Age Outlaws.
Versus the New Age Outlaws. Competing as one singular competitor.
Yeah. They both won the Rumble, starting at number 1 and 1. They're both number 1. And then, yeah, they went on to WrestleMania. And for some reason, Eddie Guerrero came out.
Yeah, celebrated with his good friends.
It's really emotional. Well done, guys. Took 2 of you, but you did it. Yeah, and they're up against the Usos, and this is what I'd call the dark days of the Usos.
This is some cringe.
No, that wasn't like a race or color thing.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Before their skin transplant.
Yeah. They're a little bit less in good shape. They don't have a gimmick. Well, they do have a gimmick. They're Samoan.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like the whole bit where they chant at the beginning.
It's cool, yeah, it's cool.
But the whole Uso penitentiary thing is far better, in my opinion.
Oh man, they're fucking awesome now. They're like legit great.
Yeah, like GOAT tag team. Even though they wrestled New Day too much, but that's the different episode, different story.
Mm-hmm.
So Road Dogg does the double J walk. I noticed that.
Yeah.
He jumps on the rope and he does the strutting like Jeff Jarrett, double J Jeff Jarrett used to do.
So this match does not warrant this much discussion at all, and I'm going to open up a door towards a tangent here. I don't stand anything about the New Age Outlaws, really. And it only occurred to me when I was watching the Jeff Jarrett's Hall of Fame speech, which I loved. I love Jeff Jarrett, and I thought his speech was fantastic.
I like how he was dressed as like an old millionaire from the fucking 60s. He's settled into that old,
he has. He's bossing it.
Old Tennessee man. He's aged gracefully into that, isn't he?
I think Jeff Jarrett is badass. I like the guy a lot. I have a lot of time for him.
Very underrated in the Attitude Era because he's a fucking worker.
Yeah, he is. So his thing, I get, like country music singer, kind of like hillbilly-ish, like badass guy, right? And that was great. And then Road Dogg comes out and he's like, "Oh no, you ain't done!" And they put on these cowboy hats and started singing this really fucking lame country song.
It was Jeff's old song, With My Baby Tonight.
Oh, was that his old song? Okay, right.
Yeah, so I'll tell you the quick one on that, so you get the bridge now. So Jeff came out and said, "I'm the greatest country singer. Here's my song." So he started singing it, and he started coming out with a roadie. Get it? Road Dogg.
Mm-hmm.
And then, once Jeff was sacked and he went back to WCW to go be in the Horsemen, they actually were like, he didn't sing that at all. Because if you listen to the original song, you can tell it's clearly Road Dogg.
Oh.
So he lip synced it on TV. So that's why they did that in the end. It wasn't too random.
I didn't think it was random. It's more that his character is like country music guy, but then also he sings songs and runs around dancing and all that shit. And it's the same with Road Dogg, where it's like Road Dogg is a fucking vet. Road Dogg went to Iraq or somewhere.
Yeah.
The Conflict Desert Storm thing. And like he does this weird juking and jiving thing, and like he's got that weird Southern fried swagger, but also a lot of like Ebonic sort of
Yes.
flavor to him, but you also look at him and think he might also be a racist. It's just,
Yeah.
I just don't fucking understand how he's this like war vet, badass Southern guy, but also, does the complete, just the indignity of dancing in the ring before you punch your opponent, constantly, gesturing to your genitals,
Yeah.
and all of this weird, borderline homoerotic stuff. It's just...
When he fucking bums you before he does the fucking...
What the fuck is that?
He did the, what was it, the pendulum drop or whatever
That's
it was.
right,
He used
yeah.
to bump you, and
Yeah.
it's like, when you're watching wrestling...
He did that at SummerSlam 2000. He did that to X-Pac, his fucking tag team partner.
I remember that one.
I've always wanted to fuck you, X-Pac.
Let me just get this bumming in. Yeah, and it's one of those things, like, if you're watching that with someone, and, because, sometimes you watch something for long enough, you just accept it. You're like, I can't even get... And someone looks at you and they point out, why is he bumming him there? And you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he just likes to do it. Like with Val Venus, it's pretty obvious. Like, he should be the one that does that. But even he would be weird because he's very much about his puns, isn't he?
Yeah.
Big Val. Did you ever see Road Dogg when he was in TNA, part of 3 Live Crew?
I did a little bit, yeah. I couldn't...
With Conan and Ron the Truth Killings.
Ron the Truth Killings, yeah.
Even weirder, because he used to come out with a song they all wrote. And, they'd all do their bits, and, like, R-Truth would do the main bits, and then you just hear, oh, you didn't know? It's like, how's that in a rap? How's he in this group? He's, like, the whitest, most redneck man. But, like, I've got a friend, and sometimes we watch Raws from 99, previously mentioned this, but, like, he really likes the Road Dogg. The crowd in 99, when because, they split him, like, ever so briefly, and they actually went through, like, the proper split. Dude was fucking over. But, like, everything about him is inconsistent. It's weird.
Yeah, it's very, very... It's just the weirdest, like, dynamic, I think, in one person that you can get. And Billy Gunn kind of has it, but, like, Billy Gunn seems like more of a mess of a person, where Road Dogg completely owns all of those weird, conflicting things. Like,
Billy Gunn makes me really uncomfortable.
Yeah, Billy Gunn definitely has incriminating evidence on his hard drive.
Yeah, it's like when he's trying to act cool when he's in DX. It's like, that's not really who he is. Like, if you watch, like, Summer of 99 and go into late 99, it's like, yeah, X-Pac, he's probably a bit scummy, but, bit of a party machine. So, like, that kind of fits him. Road Dogg, he's just, like, a charismatic dude. You can't question him. Mm-hmm. This is, like, I'm talking, like, the heel DX in late 99. And China wasn't there, and that Triple H, he's like the leader with his with the fucking bowler hat backwards, or whatever the fuck he used to wear, the skull cap backwards. And then you had Billy Gunn, and he's just kind of just like,
I like asses.
Yeah, and you're like, well, your 5th gimmick, because you used to be a cowboy, and then you used to be the rockabilly, and then you used to be. I did a Twitter post a while back when I was just not Twitter, sorry, Instagram post, and I actually wrote down each and every single one of his gimmicks from, like, the beginning when he was the smoking guns all the way to being gay, which was one of his latter gimmicks. Yeah, Billy and Chuck and JRH Chuck, obviously.
Yeah, and JBL really hates Billy Gunn too, which I love.
But, like, he's never left a lasting impression on me, even though they're always like, he's a fantastic athlete, he's the best pure athlete in WWE. So I never really, there's something about him that felt like it wasn't genuine,
The only time I ever actually liked him was around the year 2001, when I would have been, like, 10 years old watching, and he still had the whole... No, it was the one Billy Gunn, actually. I liked that. I liked when he beat Regal on SmackDown for the European belt. He was in the Final Four in the Rumble 2001.
He was, and he actually gets the fucking rocker dropper. Not the rocker dropper, the move that he does with the leg over the head.
Famous.
Yeah. It used to be called the Rockers used to do it. Oh, hi, I'm a Smark. I call it by its original name. But yeah, the rocker dropper. But no, he fucking did that to Austin.
Yeah, he did, yeah. And he gave him the middle finger, too.
Yeah. fair enough. Austin got up, no sold it, and threw him out. But
yeah. Billy Gunn went to throw Austin out, and Austin countered it by throwing him out in my least favorite Rumble elimination style that they do.
But you're gonna throw me now, I'm gonna throw you.
I think did Nakamura basically do that to Reigns, and Batista did it to whoever the last one in 2000.
Reigns.
Reigns.
Did you do that on purpose? That felt like a setup. So yeah, Roman Reigns. If you go any time the timeline we're in, from now all the way until just this year, he is in the last 2 or 3 every single time.
Yeah, and he's in the main event of Mania too.
Yeah, so it's safe to say if you go 2016, yeah, it's probably there somewhere, wasn't he? In and around. Yeah, you get CM Punk's chance here as well.
Yeah, and we want Ziggler.
Yeah, and as you recall, of course, the New Age Outlaws turned heel on Punk.
Yeah, that's right.
On that Raw that we watched. Somehow the New Age Outlaws win. Did not see that coming.
Yeah.
And Barrett turns up again.
He does, and again, the focus is on Daniel Bryan. Wade Barrett comes out and says Daniel Bryan will lose, and the Yes Movement will cease to exist because you're all fickle.
Bye. Yeah. And now we get the match of the night.
Yes.
The prime time breakdown.
Wait, one thing before we do that, they do a tiny little thing about the network, and the first thing that they show, they're like they have a laptop out, and Cole is like, look at this. Here's WrestleMania, whatever, and the camera is focused on Lillian Garcia, and I'm in favor of that because I love her. So anyway, now we move on to the next match.
I thought it was very, 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 very dangerous thing to have Lawler go on his own laptop.
Yeah.
I mean, you have got to be very careful. Like, Lawler, don't go one tab back or one tab forward. Like, just stay scrolling up and down, because fucking...
I'm surprised they let him have a laptop at ringside, to be honest.
God knows what the fuck he's got in there.
Yeah.
The only man in history to have 14 terabytes of porn on his computer.
Lawler absolutely has his porn categorized by, like, name, genre... style, video length, quality, all of that stuff. He definitely, and he's got like password protections on a lot of stuff, and every single one of his bookmarks is just filled.
He's also the kind of guy who could tell you like he could be like telling you exactly which actress is in any old video.
Yeah.
Any video from like the late 70s to like 2009, he'll be like, that's so and so, she was in this. Check out this video.
Yeah.
He's like the porn hipster.
Yeah, but he's also like, yeah, my favorite scene in Cruel Intentions is 13 minutes and 6 seconds in.
Yes.
And Selma Blair shows a bit of side boob.
yeah, he's also that guy, Mr. Yo, Lawler, how come your tape of Basic Instinct is when you have tapes and you rewind it too much on specific bits, you get the tracking thing comes up?
Yeah.
Because that bit of tape has been run over. Yeah, I bet there's certain bits in that film, Sharon Stone, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, that he's, just fucked. And I bet he's a VCR guy, which makes him more grubby.
Yeah.
VCRs and magazines as well. Like, I bet he's got a shitload of that. This match is a match made in hell,
I have written 3 words about this match. Very boring match.
Yeah, I mean, you've heard of all the great breakups. You had the Hardys, Edge and Christian, the Rockers, obviously, famously.
The Shield as well.
The Shield, Evolution, and this one, I think, stands above them all.
That's true, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they were teaming up again about 6 months later.
Have we even said who they are for the listener? This is Darren Young against Titus O'Neil.
That's right. Eric Young, who, to be fair, I thought they were going to do something with him at some point.
It seemed that way. I remember he came out publicly and he got a lot of support about it. And John Cena kind of gave him the "it's okay to be gay" thing, which is very gracious for John Cena to do that.
Yes.
I guess it means more coming from him because he is a gay brother.
Yeah. And I'm guessing from Batista as well, because Batista's mum is lesbian.
That's right, yeah.
And he hates homophobes, which he often says, homophobes can suck my dick.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Straight from the Road Dogg playbook.
Yeah. I'm not gay. You're touching me. It's like, no,
Yeah.
it's a weird thing to say. Yes, so it's Titus O'Neil and Darren Young. Yes, Darren Young came out, and a lot of cynical people. This is probably, I kid you not, bro. This is probably around the time I actually quit the internet, because a lot of these people were like, well, he's only said he's gay, so he can't get fired. I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah, have you ever heard of any decision Vince McMahon has ever made in his life?
Yeah, and I don't think historically coming out. I mean, yeah, 2000. I think he came out in 2013 or 14. I mean, even this year that we're reviewing, I can't remember exactly. But I don't think historically that gets you any safety. You know what? Roll the clock back. Go back.
No. Famously, Orlando Jordan's 5th title reign in a row was in that period where he couldn't be sacked because he came out as gay.
Yes, in the gay unsackable period. Same for Chris Kanyon, who after his first run was asked to come back and serenade the Undertaker. And I believe, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think he said he was told to go out there and sing like a faggot. You're like, yeah, cool, man. I mean, I was just gonna sing, but you know what? I'm gonna put some faggotry into this one. It's ridiculous.
Chris Kanyon gets such a fucking raw deal. Like I don't know, like when he came to the Fed,
better than Kanyon.
Yeah, and I remember
That was it.
I used to buy the WWF magazine every week or month or whatever it was because I was a fucking nerd. Well, no, in my defense, back then we bought magazines. We didn't have the internet. So fuck all of you. But there was like a segment in there that was it was a full page titled "Who Better Than Kanyon," and it listed things that were better than Kanyon, including the movie Waterworld and like various other things like that. And to their credit, they actually had some very funny things in this magazine. But when you look back on it, you realize that they were doing everything they could to just write this guy out of the picture. And it's a shame, and it's a real shame what happened to him too. His entire story is just really sad. So,
as I recall, he was bipolar as well.
Oh God, he just had such a fucking raw deal.
Speaking of which, have you seen the trailer for that Mauro Ranallo documentary?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God! Well, people as well. Like, if anyone hasn't seen the trailer, the dude's got like a lot of mental health problems. And it just goes for his whole story, and he's like, yeah, I'm like a prisoner of my own mind, and sometimes I have these episodes. He's still a fucking amazing broadcaster.
Yeah. He gets a lot of stick too.
Yeah, it's a positive piece though, which is good. It's not tragic. One thing, fuck off, the dude's still alive.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyways, this match happened. I didn't really enjoy any of it.
I couldn't even tell you who won. I
Titus.
Off that much. Yeah, I thought that. But
this is not okay. This is the second. I think the year after they did the same thing. They have Goldust versus Cody or Goldust Stardust or something. Like, this is the time before WrestleMania is not the time to do breakups.
Yeah.
Because even if this was, I mean, it wasn't given any spotlight, it'll clearly get lost in the shuffle. But you do it after, because clearly these lads aren't going to have a one-on-one at Mania. No fucking way are they sparing any time for these guys. So. Although he did the Clash of the Titus to win the match, did old Titus, he did it like the setup to Kevin Owens' pop-up powerbomb.
Oh, really?
So it was like off the ropes, pick him up, and like also like a choke slam, spine buster thing. Looked alright. But there's not much to say here, and it's a shame because I think Darren Young could have been somebody. I really do.
So too, yeah.
Because to me, like, Darren Young sits in that position of like, I know so little about him that I couldn't tell you if he was going to be shit or good, because I've never seen him get any sort of spotlight to even make an opinion.
Yeah,
other than the fact that he did the thing with the tag team with the other dude. So
he seems like he could well be an intercontinental competitor. Like, I don't know about now, because that landscape is pretty. That's a big.
Yeah, the ceiling's higher.
Yeah, the ceiling's a lot higher. Yeah, but I mean, back then, like, you definitely could see it.
Yeah, but. Fuck me, more Wade Barrett. I'm actually reading word for word my notes there. What is with the gavel?
I don't even know what he said this time around.
He said he has a go at Minnesota, and he's got some bad news that Hulk Hogan's going to be hosting WrestleMania.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news. There's going to be a racist in Jericho.
I have, but at the time, no one knew about the tape, so actually, they were like booing and being like, "What does he hate Hogan?" He's like, "I know a few things." Yeah, so then we go up to the WrestleMania panel. Not the WrestleMania panel.
This is
just the panel.
From my notes, right? They cut to the panel and Ray has his mask on. This is why wrestling is simply the fucking best sport in the world.
Like, there's a masked man giving me analysis.
There's something. Is it Josh Matthews? Is the guy here?
Yes,
right?
I can't believe he was still there at that point.
Oh my god, I couldn't believe how bad this was, because he goes, "I'm joined by the strongest man in the world, Mark Henry," and then like 40 seconds pass of the camera.
I think they was waiting
Mark
for
Henry.
A pop.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was
never came.
Very bad. And also like 6-time Intercontinental Champion The Miz, and then it hangs for so fucking long.
This is babyface Miz.
Yeah.
By the way, which explains why he comes back later and he's like, "I want Bryan to win."
Yeah, I know.
Given their history,
it's very funny. Yeah.
Babyface Miz is like the most annoying. Heel Miz is not as annoying as babyface Miz.
That's so fucking true, yeah.
Like, he's a very unlikable person, and he's doing like the whole like me. You're just like, oh, you're fucking horrible. Now business is gonna pick up, man.
You mean Mizness is gonna pick up?
Because they throw to the Wyatt's Mizness. Yes.
This match, right? I watched this event live, and I swear to fucking God, this is one of my favorite experiences of watching live wrestling in my entire life.
I would not disagree with that. So it's the Wyatt family versus the Shield. Can I just point out, though, during the promo package, the Shield are the wettest group of people in wrestling.
They all collectively, there's some superstitious thing, but they all dip their head into a chip pan before they come out. Don't know what it is. They just love that grease on their hair. I think it stops their opponents from grabbing their head.
Let me break this down to you. So there's two types of wet hair you can have in wrestling. There's the Triple H where he wets it, but you can clearly, back in the day when he used to have hair, he wets it, but you can clearly see that he then combs it back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking like 2007, 2008. Same with Jeff. Same with a couple of other people I can't think of.
Edge.
And then you get, Edge. And then you get these lads, which is just like, nah, dude, that is like wet and puffy and it's gross. Like, Dean Ambrose looks like a sex offender in the promo package.
Yeah, he absolutely does.
Because he's got like one strand of hair between his forehead. He's got, there's another one who's he needs to go to Turkey.
But he went.
Him and you and Billy Gunn. Fucking, yeah.
Yeah.
They need to have a pay-per-view in Turkey. So he looks like he looked like someone who I didn't want to look at. Put it that way.
Yeah. But I think he embodies it though. Like, he's a little bit more graceful, because with Dean Ambrose, at least you can tell that he either isn't aware of it because he's so crazy, or he's aware of it and he doesn't give a fuck because he's so crazy. But Billy Gunn is like almost showing off the hair on the back of his head.
Yeah, look at my noodle hair.
Yeah.
I could be Dolph Ziggler. If you squint, I am Dolph Ziggler. Maybe that's why he wasn't booked on the show, because they were like...
They thought that that's who he was, yeah.
Yeah, you got his dad here, so fuck it. So we get the kind of the build-up to this, where... who is the most dominant team, because they're both heels at the time. Shield, kind of tweeners, kind of fighting everyone.
The Shield, I think, were the de facto faces here, but they were very much heels at the time, yeah.
Yeah, we have this is awesome chance before the match even starts.
Yeah, which, when they do that in NXT, it's so fucking obnoxious, but when they did it here, it's because it actually was awesome.
Yeah, and it felt quite organic, because you're like, both of these teams debuted within the last of 2-3 years. Both of them had the fucking rocket strapped to them. Very defined set of characters. Very defined set of beliefs and rules for both of them.
That's what made this so fucking good. And like, the build-up is simple. And if this is just a fight, that's it.
Yeah. Who's the best team?
Yeah.
Us or your sorry asses. Easy as that. And So it was weird hearing the song and a positive reaction, the Shield song, of course.
Yeah.
Big Dog gets a nice reaction when Seth tags him in as
He
well earlier
fucking
on.
does. Also, just the very start of this match, it's really simple, but it was fantastic. Like they all go at it, they all start punching each other. It's like one on one, one on one, one on one. Like all six guys. It's just a three separate brawls, but it's supported by the camera work. I don't know if you noticed this, but the camera flies around the ring, and it gives it this real like frantic and fast paced feel. And usually they don't do that. Usually it's on the hard cam and you just see three guys punching each other, and it's like kind of lame and samey. But this was totally different. It was like they used an entire different technique, and it gave it that extra layer of like awesomeness to it, which was super cool.
Oh, definitely, dude. It was like the director was reacting to the match rather than the predispositioned.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, look at that, go to camera 2.
Exactly.
Oh my god, did you see that as well? Go to camera 4. Okay, go back to the hard camera. Okay, snap out of it again. What I liked about this right at the beginning as well was that, so they walk in and obviously they're both standing like facing each other, and, you know, Bray's like, yeah, come at me, bro, and puts his arms out, there's all that whole shtick, and the Shield are like, no, use your head, come on. Seth is like, come on, guys, and Dean just like immediately jumps on all of them and says like, for fuck's sake, and just like, I guess I gotta fight with you. I just thought that like, that put across their characters so well, and it's a very subtle thing of like, Dean's mad one, Seth's like the brains, and Roman's the power. But Michael Cole said, many say that Roman's the leader of the Shield. So they're already grooming him. That sounds really fucked up saying that out of context.
They definitely were. He had a one-on-one match with John Cena that he nearly won the week before, and I actually noticed it a lot more here on the rewatch that they made it more about Reigns than they had to, because if I were to pick one breakout star from this match, it would actually honestly be Rollins. I think he by far led everything in it. I think, obviously I'm a huge fucking advocate for Roman Reigns, but he wasn't the main thing about this match.
No. So if you had to go, you'd go like Seth, Bray, Dean, Rowan, and then Roman and Harper would be like kind of holding the rear of the groups, you know?
Yeah.
Not just in promos, but also in ring talent. But you know what Roman did was very impactful, because that was perfect. Because he'd come in, spear, Superman punch, big moves, like super angry, but like kind of he has that like that sort of chill anger. Which I'm making this word up, where it's just like there'd be shots at him, he'd just be looking like uber pissed off, but completely calm. Like I like that aspect of the character, which they have overdone it now.
They
where it's
ruined it. They fucked it up. But he embodied that in the pre-match promo, where it kind of showed a little bit of friction in the group, and they were like, Seth or Dean goes, "Oh, you think if we were in the chamber that you would have won it?" And Roman just says, "I know it," and it's just he's just an absolute fucking animal, like, and that's what he needs to be. But we talk about him too fucking much.
No, we do, but yeah, I mean, let's give the others some spotlight as well. I thought the German suplex where Seth lands on his feet and then he does a dive in and around the ring. He does dive outside, clotheslines everyone out.
Luke Harper got a drop kick in there. That was pretty sick.
And the suicide dive. Luke Harper is so underrated.
Luke Harper is fucking awesome, and he looks like Serge Tankian, a gigantic Serge Tankian.
He does, and like what I like about him is he's a big man, but he can work with anybody. He's one of those guys that's just like he gets it. He's just fucking incredible. I mean, Harper was always like the number 3, so it's like he's just been put into a group of like really good workers here, but like, and he's protected to a point. Like I don't think he's that shit, but he's definitely like number 6 if we're gonna rank all 6 of them. I quite like the bit where so obviously they put is it Seth or Dean through the table, the announce table?
It's Seth. Dean got like knocked out and never appeared again.
Yeah, so it's left to Roman, and there's a bit where like Thingy's going for the Sister Abigail.
Yeah, and Roman uses his power to.
Yeah, he screams like.
And the crowd lost their fucking minds.
I marked out for that. I was like,
so
because I do you know what? I completely forgot who won this as well. And at that point in the match, you're about 20-25 minutes in, like, because you know the timestamps on the network.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, ooh, that's a big gap. Because I completely forgot this match was even on the show, because the promo at the beginning didn't mention anything besides the chamber match.
Yeah.
Like, nothing else was brought up. And I completely forgot this match was on this show. And I just kept thinking, like, did they have some sort of Chris Benoit tribute here at some point?
Yeah, the infamous 2014 Benoit tribute.
The ill-fated Benoit tribute show at the middle of thing. But I was like, oh my god, this match is going to be on for ages. And it was like, it never slowed down because everyone was fucking cardio kings, especially Mr. CrossFit himself, Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
And by the way, like, he's now back to this level as well, where he just, like, he can just go any length with anybody as well. And yeah, no, so I like the fact that this match, we'll get to the finish in a sec, I guess, but I like the fact that this match was just like, no one built too much heat. There's a lot of cutoff because it's both heel teams.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of tagging, a lot of ins and outs. Like, I can't, I mean, to me, this probably match of the year at this point as well, at the time. And probably match of the year in 2014, because I can't remember too many better matches than this. Maybe Shield versus Evolution.
Yeah, that was sensational as well. I actually think this match right here marks the beginning of peak Shield.
Yes.
In this match, in the early goings, their in-ring work as a team is so fucking legit and so tight. And as well as that, I'm going to pay an unlikely tribute to my nemesis, Michael Cole, whose play-by-play commentary was quite good in this. Like, he had a strong understanding of their cohesion and how they worked and stuff. So,
you know, I said earlier about, like, when wrestling gets it right, it's good. This half an hour match, from build up to the stare down to the way Dean attacks at the beginning of the match to the way things worked out. Yes, it was all left to Roman at the end, and he was already coming off the Royal Rumble push. So you kind of go, okay, right, so I see where this is going. The other two are just going to be cannon fodder or whatever. But, like, you're right. Not only is this peak Shield, I'd probably say this is also peak Wyatt family.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, yeah. But the thing about this being peak Shield is that this is a peak period for the Shield, whereas the Wyatts are just, like, basically as if two different people are booking them all the time.
Yes.
This is great, but I don't think they did much after this. I think Bray went into that feud with Cena, which I actually really enjoyed.
Yeah, they never, because the Wyatts weren't very much about the six-man. They're always about one-on-one with the other two doing all the shenanigans for Bray. So, yeah, it was one of the few times they all teamed up as well. Because you remember back in the day, all these random teams would go up against the Shield. They'd be like Cena, Sheamus, and I don't know, Ziggler, and then like Del Rio, blah blah blah, Big Show, Orton. Like they would get all these teams going up against the Shield. But it was the first time the Shield also came up against like the 3-man squad.
The Shield is like, it's one of the best things that the Fed have done. Like, they've made 3 genuine stars from it. And I remember watching. I was watching wrestling the entire time that they came into play, and I remember watching their very first match, and there was like this kind of hushed shock amongst the commentary team, and you know, when they're looking at something that they can't quite believe, and they all sold it really well, and JBL was like, I have never seen anything like this, like the numbers game with the Shield, the way they go about things. Like, you are looking at a tag team that is going places and stuff like that. And
like, off the bat, it was like, I'll put these lads over here. We're going to get the Rocket behind them.
Yeah, and they just completely, like, owned it. And you know, they grabbed the brass ring.
They did, because they had a lot of swagger as well. They were like, yeah, we are fucking good.
They're fucking class. Like, I really hope that they get back together too when Dean comes back.
I think the right team won this one. So yeah, so Roman gets the big comeback, Superman punches after the Samoan drop. He's going for the spear, but then
Harper gets in the way and he spears him, and then Bray comes up behind him, and basically the numbers game catches up with the Shield this time around.
Yeah, the irony, of course, being that they did that to people, and I think the Wyatts benefited more from the win that the Shield would have, because the Shield they're fine at this point. Because this would have been also backstage of them going, these guys, we don't have to worry that much anymore about whether they win or lose. They're established now.
They're bona fide. Greatest of all time.
Yeah, they're goats here in the making. But yeah, everyone should go out of their way to watch this one. One of the few matches on this pay-per-view. I mean, match tonight, by the way, on this pay-per-view.
By a considerable distance, yeah.
By what could only be described as a mile of a country.
Mm-hmm.
Or a country mile. So then we go backstage to Christian, looking very orange here, isn't he?
Yeah. I think there's just something about people who've been in the game a long time that, I don't know, is it just the strain of keeping your body in that condition or whatever? Like, obviously he also has fake tan and there's lighting and all that stuff, but I'm thinking about mainly Brock Lesnar here. Like, that man's skin turns, I don't know, 3 different colors. That's weird.
Red to orange to purple to...
Yeah, a weird greeny...
big pudding head on him as well.
Color, yeah.
Yeah, big thumb with a fucking face on. Renee looking... I would say she looks as good as any human being has ever looked ever. I'm talking like ever.
She's really not my type at all.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Lillian Garcia man. You
are, yeah. Going for that Latin flavor, I see.
I have the fucking weirdest taste in women. Like, it just, I can't even. Yeah, Renee Young.
It spirals off everywhere.
Yeah, it really does.
So, yeah, she asked Christian, obviously he's the only one who dropped, and I didn't know this, so Christian's actually a heel here.
Yeah. And
Could you tell that? Because I had to Google that.
I think I just knew from remembering it.
Oh, okay, because his heel turn was when he attacked Bryan, I think?
Probably, yeah.
Because I think he's the one who attacked Bryan in the shoulder, and they're getting across the whole, like, I'm old, I might not get that many title shots, but I'm bloody desperate, I am.
It's cool when Renee Young is like, so you lost this match, you're the only one that lost here, you lost this, and he just goes, yeah, right, I've not been on a roll recently, what's your fucking point?
Yeah! Can you just come here to tell me how much I've lost?
Yeah, you fucking bitch.
Yes, and this is when we get my question answered, that this is indeed a song, Doomsday by Nero. Brother Nero, Jeff Hardy wrote this.
No, El De Niro, I wrote this.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that one. Brother El De Niro. So good to see you again. Here comes Mrs. Punk.
Yeah, you know what I've written in my notes for this? AJ Lee versus CM Punk chance.
So, we knew that she was with him, I think at this point. Like, it was public, I think, that they're together. We knew that he just left, walked out. I don't think the podcast had been dropped at this point.
No, I don't think it was certain that Punk had definitively left.
Yeah, because I think the door was still kind of open. And once he did the podcast, like, psh, done.
That
over.
Was that, yeah.
But did you notice her promo, the theme of her promo was very similar to his heel run?
Yeah, it was. It was basically the same, yeah.
The only problem was, obviously, I think she's a good promo as well. She's another one that, like, it's a shame that she was in the Divas division and she wasn't around when the Women's Revolution came, because she could have had some much better matches with a lot more people.
She could have.
But, because, I mean, it's so disrespectful that, like, the one title that the women have, the one champion that they have, she's like, I've just been informed, I've got to defend my title. I mean, yeah, you do, but, like, it's so demeaning of, like, yeah, toilet break, yeah, put the women on.
Also, the fucking belt is like something befitting of a Bratz doll.
It really is. Yeah, the big butterfly.
It is a disgusting looking, tacky fucking rag of a championship.
Is that worse than the fucking ovary trophy that Naomi had for WrestleMania?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I think so as well. Because a trophy in wrestling, they're meant to be like, yeah, whatever. That's like, that's a belt. You have to go to the airport with those belts.
I know, it's a fucking disgrace.
Yeah, are you a champion? Yeah. Your belt looks very ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah, Funky was on a roll.
That's right.
As I recall.
The funny thing is that Brodus had been released about 6 months before this.
Fuck it, they could have gone with Naomi. Why the fuck did they go with Cameron?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's strange, but I think they interchanged between the two to a reasonable amount.
I swear she fought it. Also, I don't understand why Tamina is even anywhere near this AJ and this feud. Yeah. Like, I've never understood why she's good or anything. Like, to me, she just looks like it looks like it's not to be horrible or anything, because like obviously a job's a job, and I'm sure she does contribute something to the business. Just not, I don't see it on screen. Or it's like a favor or something like, oh, your dad was accused of murder. Do you want to work here?
Yeah.
I don't know. But like she added nothing to AJ's character.
She added
Like
nothing to anything. Like,
it's
yeah.
She
AJ
never
doesn't
had
need that.
no. She does. I mean, and if she did, like, I'm sure there's other women in the roster at the time that could have done with having like the "I'm hanging out with the champ" sort of rub. But yeah, Cameron cannot throw a drop kick. She can't do a clothesline. I mean, she looks damn fine when she comes out.
She can't do much. Like, she was pretty bad in the ring back then. I think there's obviously something to be said about the way they trained women wrestlers, because if you look at the difference in, say, the Bellas and in Naomi and various others who were around before the Stephanie McMahon Divas Revolution, they're much better in-ring performers now. Like
Stephanie McMahon TM Revolution.
Yeah, that's right. But like Naomi is like really fucking good in the ring, and she used to be garbage. So there's obviously something has changed where they used to train them to do snapmares at the most and stuff like that, where now they're like, yeah, exactly. So
there you go. This is bad. I feel bad for AJ. So Tamina accidentally kicks. No, she kicks AJ. Super kicks her. And then Cameron goes for the pin, but she's too close to ropes, and Tamina pulls her away. AJ, that is, and the ref calls for the belt, and yeah.
This is the worst part of the whole pay-per-view, right down to AJ coming out to the ring, to Bad News Barrett coming out straight after this.
Oh my god.
Advertise the network.
That was the worst advertising I think I've ever seen.
He made me want to cancel my subscription.
He says, if you get this, you might become homeless. Yeah. Your house will be a tip. You won't go to work. Is he saying basically don't get it? Or is he saying that, like, you people are so stupid that you can't watch something? Like, you can't have a Netflix subscription and be a functioning human being at the same time. It was weird. And it was just like, it was the shittest way to plug it. And it really fucked me off. Yeah. Don't know why.
I used to think, much like what I used to think of Sandow and Cody, like that Wade Barrett was really good, should have been a champion, but they didn't give him the push that he deserved. Yeah. But the more I look back on stuff like this, the more I'm like, nah, he's just shit. Get rid of him.
Just fucking shit. And
I know the truth is somewhere in the middle, and he is definitely good. He's clearly charismatic. He is good in the ring, but like, just this is just not working.
He wasn't given. I know he wasn't given the best content, but I thought it just sucked.
I don't even think it matters what you're given when it's this broad. You know what I mean? Like, you can make something out of this, and he wasn't doing it. And you can't say he was misused. Like, they did everything they could for him. They made him king of the ring. They fucking gave him the Intercontinental belt so many times. They put him in the League of Nations. Like they've done a lot for the guy. So if he has any bad blood with the Fed, I think he's wide of the mark. Like, it gets to a stage where you have to start looking at the person and thinking maybe it's their fault.
Yeah, and I think his heart then wasn't in it. I mean, like I said, it's just a clash of, like, I'm pretty sure he had about 8 theme songs throughout his career as well, because none of them stuck. There's that one that was like, God save our queen, blah, 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 blah. And this was shit. Like, he's one of those people that you don't want to go back on because you realize the hype was just hype. A little bit like Justin Gabriel as well. He was one of those that was like, or Evan Bourne before, because I think now he's quite good, but you know, when he didn't have a character, where you're just like, yeah, I can see why they didn't give that guy a push.
Yeah.
Just because he can do a 450 or a shooting star press.
So then we cut to Santino, who I actually forgot was still around at this time. With the Great Khali, who I also forgot was still around at this time, and they're playing.
And what's he doing?
Yeah, so they're playing with Lego, or as the Americans call it, Legos. And there's a woman.
Waldo, Wally, whatever.
Aluminum elevator.
Yeah. Tomato, wrench, whatever, wretch. Fuck off.
Yeah.
So they're playing with these toys, right?
And
Emma walks in.
That's who she is. I didn't even know who she is.
Emelina. we then went back to Emma, who's now in Ring of Honor, and I hear doing very well for herself.
She's the one that did that weird like stealing thing, didn't she?
Yeah, she was like sacked for a day, and then immediately reinstated. Because it was some big thing about how like she took something, but she already paid for it. I don't know. Never caught up much into that.
Wrestling is wild.
Yeah, it's just the weirdest shit happens in wrestling. But yeah, so she comes in and she's like, Santino, what are you doing? He's like, I'm not playing with toys. Oh, I can't do his accent. And then,
what accent did you just do?
Generic, I'm not from here accent. I am not playing with toys. That one. And then the Great Khali comes in.
He is just a fucking monstrosity. He can't do anything because of his size.
Like, spit out those marbles are gonna fucking talk to me, mate.
God, it's so weird, right? Because what I'm doing is basically racist. Like, I hate him because of how he looks. I hate him because of how he sounds. I hate him because he is so immobile. So yeah,
and not a good wrestler to boot too. And then we kind of round this off, and if you think you're being racist, the bullfighters turn up.
Los Matadores.
One of them is from like Puerto Rico, and I'm not too sure where the other lad Epico is from, but I'm pretty sure he's not Spanish either. And they have the little bull, and they go, "Little bull, where were you? Oh, we love toys." And they all start playing, and I don't think anybody under the age of 1 would have been like, that's interesting, I'll buy a fucking toy off of this. Why don't they just cut to ads? In the old days, it would just cut to an ad.
I know. And what's crazy is in the like those ads for toys back in the day really made me want to buy them. This wouldn't make me want to buy that.
Yeah, you had the old ones with the Super Soaker, the the little water pistol thing or machine gun, whatever the fuck it was. But you had the wrestlers maybe doing it. Maybe you had I think you had like the X being like, yeah, this will make all their breasts wet. Now, of course, that was the target audience then too, because it's a little bit more like your teen perverted dude, American Pie and all that. But at the same time, it was like a definite ad, so you can get away with being cheesy.
I remember the WCW ad for the grip and flip wrestlers. They had the little magnets in their hands.
What were they?
So it was like this. The toy had like the 2 fists pointed up, and they both had a magnet inside of them. And when you squeeze their legs together, their arms shot up in the air. So you got the 2 of them, and the magnets would hold the 2 of them in place. And then you squeeze the legs down on one, and he does like a body slam on the other guy. They're fucking awful, like the least mobile figures of all time. But I got a whole bunch of them. So advertising works.
Yeah, what a mark.
Yeah.
The second cringiest ad I've ever seen though was the one where it's like the Miz and his kid, and the Miz it's like a Mars one, or I can't remember what it was, and the kid's like, WWE superstar the Miz. It's like, no one talks like that. No one fucking, you don't state your profession.
Did you know that Batista was in an episode of Neighbours, the Australian soap?
No.
Yeah, well, he's just sitting down, chilling, and this little Australian kid is like, can I do an Australian accent? He's like, blimey. No, just kidding. He's like, hey, it's Batista, mate. I don't know, I guess I can't.
That's New Zealand, mate. Get it right? Was he?
Yeah.
And that's probably what got him the Guardians of the Galaxy gig.
That's probably.
That guy, yes. No, did not know that. And I'm a big fan of wrestlers turning up and shit that you're like, what, he's in this? RVD in the X-Files. I'm talking like stuff that it's because WWE sometimes they forget to promote shit like that.
Yeah.
And because Randy Orton was in some series as well. I can't remember what it was. In and around the time I think he was shooting with Bray, he was on like some TV show as like a cop.
Jeez, really?
Yeah. But it's just odd when they don't promote it. You're just like, what the fuck? Why is he in that? Did you know Alex Jones was in the film?
Oh, I feel like I did know that, yeah.
He was in, like, Scanner Darkly, I think it's called. It's like a sort of...
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
I need to watch that again. It's like a weird CGI-looking fucking thing. But he basically plays it like himself out in the streets complaining about stuff. It's really, but it's odd to be like, is that so they paid him for this? Weird. But yeah, so should we get back into the? I mean, we're now one away from the main event.
Yeah, so we got Batista versus Alberto Del Rio. Couple of things here. Batista.
No build up,
Yeah,
as I recall.
yeah. I don't even remember the reason that these guys were fighting, to be honest.
I think Del Rio was like, "You don't deserve to go to WrestleMania," and Batista's
And the crowd were like, "Yeah, he's right."
And Batista just stared at him and went, "Exactly," just like he did at the Rumble. Deal with it.
That was fucking, man. I still think about that. I could not believe that when we did that review. The fucking exactly. So fucking weird.
Because it always makes it sound like he's agreeing with the person before.
Yeah, I can't even think of the context that would work. Like, it must have been like the cameraman was like, "Come on, Dave, tell him that you're going to throw everyone over the top rope. You're going to go on to Mania," and Batista just goes, "Yeah, exactly."
Exactly. Because it makes no sense. Why do you think you're going to win the Rumble? Exactly.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah, we see the little Mexican flags on the...
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah, add a little bit to it. It feels emptier when he doesn't have Ricardo with him, but Lillian did do the introduction in Spanish, which I'm sure you got a kick out of that.
I certainly did.
Yeah.
Kick out of everything she does.
Did you notice it though? Or were you just mesmerized by her talking?
I'm just always mesmerized.
But Del Rio comes out all in crutches and shit.
He does. Also,
what is this?
Does Batista, has he ever gotten his pyro right?
No, he never times the fucking machine gun right.
He's fucking useless at that.
It goes, bleh, and then a pause, and then I walk alone. But for him, it goes, bleh, I walk. No, you missed this. 2 seconds too late, bro.
He's fucking brutal at that.
Yeah. So, this is Batista's first one-on-one match here, and you can tell. Shouldn't have done it on pay-per-view. Do you know what? He should have been having matches on Raw. Should be having matches on SmackDown. Because as they always talk about, there's nothing like ring rust.
I know.
You can be in the best shape of your life, but there's nothing quite like actually doing it. Or he could have done like The Rock did, where he had like a ring whenever he was filming. And he had Curtis Axel there to be his bumping buddy. I don't know if you know this. Well, he was the guy who's there helping him out. And what's his name? The dude who loses a lot. Kurt Hawkins as well. They helped him out. But, yeah, so you can tell Batista's definitely still not in the groove at all. At all.
Yeah.
And they fucking put him in a position here that's even worse because Del Rio's like, you fucked me up last week. I can't really fight. And he attacks him with a crutch. So already you're doing the match as the whole, like, oh, look at his leg. It's fucked. So it's not even like a straight-up one-on-one. Because if they're going to put Batista over, I think he should have just gone and killed Del Rio.
Yeah, he should have, yeah.
He should not be out there for this long. Do a Goldberg job, They
must have had something in, like I said earlier, that they were pointing towards Daniel Bryan and really making him the centerpiece of this pay-per-view. They must have had something in mind with Batista, like how they were going to go about this. So I suspect that the reason that this is so clunky is because they were trying to change it from its natural course, but there's no real way to do that, right? Like, he's the de facto face because of the way that he's booked, and there is no one more of a heel than Del Rio. But the crowd are just, like, this is the most crowd support that Del Rio has ever gotten in his life.
The C chants,
Bautista chants, CM Punk chants, Y2J,
Brock Lesnar,
RVD,
Y2J,
Randy
RVD,
Savage.
Anybody.
Yeah.
I also noticed that Batista, everything that he did looked very uncomfortable. Like his feet were all over the place.
Batista is a man who is head to toe in glamour muscle. He is not actually strong.
No.
Pound for pound, I think Cesaro is probably 10 times stronger than him proportionally.
And he's nowhere near the size of him, is he?
No.
Batista is a bodybuilder, not a strength guy, is he?
Batista couldn't lift up Kane. Like,
No.
he's not a fucking, he's just, it's glamour muscle. That's just all he is.
I mean, he looks skinnier here. He's definitely got like a sort of more like subdued body compared to what he was like in, like, if you watch him in 2004 and 5, like he is
Yeah,
gigantic.
he's on less roids here.
Yeah. The shoulder veins aren't popping out as much, which I think is the grossest thing, by the way. The shoulder, like, in this fucking, like, next to his tit, all veins there. But,
Yeah.
and he also had the, what I would describe as the noodle brain. Because, like, his head, you know when some people shave their head?
Yeah, man, this is creepy looking.
They get the little lines on the brain. Triple H, I think, might have it as well sometimes. Like,
Not that, like, but like Batista looks like he's had half his head blown off by a sawn-off shotgun. Like, if you were to get a pink marker and just color in those lines, it would just look like Brain.
Yeah, it was like a little baby where his head hasn't closed up.
Oh, it's
He's
fucking
got
disgusting.
these deep cuts. Yeah, it didn't look good. He didn't look good. The match was kind of built around Del Rio going after the arm for the arm breaker, even though I'm pretty sure at certain points he's also after the leg. So that's awkward. So here's the bit I'm trying to understand about this. Was Batista's title shot on the line?
No.
But Del Rio kept pointing at the WrestleMania sign.
He certainly did.
These are facts.
Yeah.
Undeniable facts. So, because I think I saw some of the recaps from SmackDown and Raw at the time. I'm pretty sure Batista would come out and Del Rio would be like, listen, you haven't been here for a minute. Fuck you, blah, blah, blah. You know, the usual, like, I'm the heel, I'm established, blah, blah. And Batista probably snapped his fingers or did the thumbs up, thumbs down thing. Mm-hmm. Which is funny, because before Batista left in 2010 when he was a heel, after he turned heel on Rey Mysterio, his promos were really good. Like, by the time that he left, he could actually cut a 10-minute, you know, your classic WWE, I'm by myself in the ring for 10 minutes, need to make sense here. Whereas, they were giving him fucking nothing at this point.
Like, I think it's one of the reasons why we chose to do this arc, that this is one of the strangest sort of moments, like, from the writer's point of view. Like, they did not know what they were fucking doing here.
No, they felt they were begrudgingly giving him a push.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was him being like, ooh, Royal Rumble, that was a bit shit. Like, make sure you sort me out. And they're like, we'll sort you out, all right.
We'll give you...
Never understand the whole sabotage of a push. But there you go. Batista wins. He does the Batista bomb to a chorus of boos.
Yeah.
Like,
I have that exact sentence written down.
A depressing chorus of boos.
Yeah.
Most of the time I just wrote, this is not good. And then Jerry Lawler said that Del Rio's ringtone is La Cucaracha, which I believe is a very offensive thing to say.
Which I believe is a racism.
Yeah, because it's not like he's going, you know, and Jack Swagger has like, America!
Yeah.
Fuck yeah! On his phone because, you know, whatever. And he also said something else about eating his beans, and I was just like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Like, you wouldn't say, like, yeah, Road Dogg, you know, his food stamps just fell out of his pocket. Or something. Like,
yeah, he's an aristocrat. He's not going to listen to La Cucaracha.
Yeah.
Like, the whole point is that, like, he's high class, and if you're going to throw the stereotype of a Mexican that we always know and understand is that, like, they're poor. Quote what Donald Trump said. That's, like, the worst negative stereotype.
They smoke at a ganja.
Yeah. They're hombres. They bring disease, whatever the fuck people want to say. That's horrific. But, like, he is meant to be like, I'm horrible to them as well.
Yeah.
And
they are beneath me. Yeah, exactly.
So they're being like, oh, you're just like them. I don't get it.
JBL gets it. JBL is always putting him over as like a god to the Mexicans.
Yeah, like, we hang out. I go to his estate, you know. He's very good to his hunters and maids.
Several national holidays named
Yeah.
after him.
Yeah, I love it when they go full blown on that shit.
Same, it's great.
Hyperbole is far funnier than basically you're you know, punching down and you're making the dude look far worse. Whatever. Del Rio's still scum. I'm just talking about the character.
Yeah. No, fuck Del Rio.
Yeah. And then WWE decides for some reason to honor black people.
This was very long.
It was very long, and it didn't really specifically. I think it's, you know, Black History Month. I get it, blah blah blah. Vince McMahon is famously has a picture of Martin Luther King in his room, and he's a bit he genuinely seems to have a lot of love for Martin Luther King for reasons I can't quite understand. Not that as in if you're white you can't love Martin Luther King, but it's have you seen the way you've booked some people? Come on.
Yeah, none of his actions would seem to embody that love.
Yeah. You tell me of a black man who doesn't shuck and jive in WWE, and I will call that the slightest bit of progress. Yeah, so we get a little honorable mention to Soul Patrol. Shuck and jive. It's Rocky Johnson, the Soul Man, Rocky Johnson, and the I can't remember what Tony Atlas was called, the American or whatever the fuck, Mr. America or Mr. USA, and they won the tag titles. And it's weird to think that the first black African American tag team champions was in the fucking 70s.
Yeah. Well, I guess they didn't have civil rights before then anyway, so.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so they're not gonna book a black world champion.
Actually, I'll put it to you this way: the first ever music video broadcast on MTV by a black person was Michael Jackson's Thriller in the year 1984.
84. So MTV comes in 81, 82 maybe?
I'm not sure. I might even be talking about VH1. I'm not sure, but whatever. Sorry, full stop. That's the first ever black music video broadcast in the States. So
was Michael Jackson still black then?
Yeah, he was.
Still much darker then. That's crazy.
So that the Fed might have actually been ahead of its time.
Yeah, but it's shit like that kind of makes you think are we so far removed from this? Because when you live in a world that's it sounds like I'm doing the trailer guy. In a world where gay marriages are allowed. When you live in a post sort of acceptance world or in a current acceptance world where it's yeah, people can get abortions. Yeah, people of the same sex can get married. For me, anyways, you just assume that's always been happening.
Yeah.
You just assume that, not as in being a fucking idiot, naive and all that, but you're just yeah, this is okay, and it's been okay for ages, I think. And then you go back and you're 1991, some of these laws went through, and you're fucking hell,
I know.
That was not that long ago. It's just, it puts it into context that we still got a fair ways to go on this whole planet. So yeah, we go back to the panel.
Right.
What a segue.
let me just Josh Matthews goes through each guy and he's like, who do you think is going to win the chamber match, right? And when he gets to Rey Mysterio,
he didn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Rey says, I believe that all 6 men except for Cesaro have been in the Elimination Chamber before. I think Cesaro will win.
Good
well
psychology
done,
there.
You absolute fucking idiot.
Is that as bad as him on Sky Sports? You know about that one?
No, I don't think so.
So, Ray, how you doing? Not too bad. I think it's a little bit sad that Mexico didn't qualify for the European Championships.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Guy on Sky Sports. Well, then again, they're not in Europe. Oh, boy.
In his defense, which is not a thing I ever say about Rey Mysterio, the fucking Copa America has had Japan in it before.
Jamaica, yeah.
So. But
Europe doesn't allow for whatever.
Yeah. I mean, we do have Israel in Eurovision and Australia.
And in the European, I said all that.
The European
and the European qualifiers as well.
Yeah. So
fucking yeah. I wonder if it's political, that reason, but who knows? Who can tell? I wouldn't fucking know myself, So also Michael Cole, when the chamber's coming down, he goes, "Tonight, Marks." So it sounds like he's calling us Marks.
Yeah.
Listen, Marks, tonight you'll get to see a great Elimination Chamber. So Henry says Sheamus. Miss says, Daniel Bryan will overcome the odds.
Yeah.
What the fuck? And Ray picks the guy who hasn't been in the match before.
Yeah.
And is probably ranked number 6 in terms of both storyline. Imagine that.
Cesaro is going to WrestleMania.
The undisputed champion. The My Way.
Yeah.
Cesaro and Bryan, back and forth they go.
But
Yes.
it would be would it be Cesaro Batista in the fucking main event of WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Just one.
Exactly. More fights. Yeah, no. So, and then you know that bit with Deborah that no one likes about the promo package.
Yeah.
It's with Zeb Coulter.
Yeah.
So Zeb Coulter starts managing Batista, and Cesaro's like, "If you lay a hand, if anything happens to my Zeb Coulter, I'll kill
Batista's
you."
like, let's take Zeb Coulter out of the picture. Boom,
Bam!
non-factor. The fact is, Cesaro, you have the WWE title, and I want it.
You have the undisputed World Heavyweight Championship. Exactly. So we have the Elimination Chamber, also known, what's it called in Germany? Remind me.
The No Way Out.
No Way Out 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't mess. I mean, they used to be called that. So don't mess with the formula. We have Cena, who says, "This is my last chance to go to WrestleMania. My last chance for that ticket."
This is
Where have
my
I heard that
legacy.
Yeah.
Hey.
Tell me what you say. So he gives a kid with Down syndrome his T-shirt, which is very nice of him.
Yeah, that is classic Cena. He's
Not all cunts, is he?
yeah, only 98%.
Yeah, and then Michael Cole proceeds to say, "WrestleMania will be hosted by the host, Hulk Hogan."
Fucking Michael
This guy's
Cole.
a poet.
At the Silver Dome, brother.
Yeah. So Christian, little tidbit as well. This is Christian's second to last match ever in the WWE.
Wow, really?
Yes. After this, he wins the #1 contendership for the IC title, leading into WrestleMania. Never, obviously, cashes in on that #1 contendership. Quietly retires with post-concussion syndrome or just concussion in general. Christian must be the weirdest retirement. They didn't say a fucking word.
Yeah. Like he's a very strangely looked at guy in the like pantheon of retired Grand Slam winners. You know what I mean? Like he was fucking like he's in my top 10 all time, I'd say.
Impossible for this dude to have a bad match. Not only that, he is such a fucking team player. He'll be a jobber, he'll be world champion, he'll win tag team titles, he'll be in the Un-Americans. Like, he has done it all. But, like, I don't think Vince has ever liked him. Ever.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Like, I mean, but at the same time, Vince loved Edge. Like, really fucking loved Edge. So, maybe that's part of it. I'm not too sure. But, yeah, Christian...
Maybe Christian didn't cheat enough on people's wives and girlfriends. That was why.
Possibly, yeah.
Vince is like, "Nice one, you've earned my respect, Edge." Yeah. I like a man who takes advantage of women on the road. Oh, that sounds really creepy. I don't mean it like that.
But let's face it, it's true.
Yeah, you know the story. They travel together, blah, blah. So, and Edge seems, but to be fair, Edge just seemed like a genuine, very nice person. So I'm sure he was all fucked well. Yeah. So, back to the match. But yeah, no, the Christian doesn't get a lot of love. It's very hard to kind of put a definitive end on his career. Like, they were building him up here as the whole, like we said earlier, the whole, like, he's a veteran. You never know when you get in a title shot, like, he has to do. And he always talks about how dangerous he is because he's all, like, mad and all ragey. So, up next, we have Daniel Bryan coming out. Huge pop. Mm-hmm. And then Cesaro. And then... No, am I missing someone?
Sheamus, oh, yes. And the face of the company, Randall Keith Orton.
That's right. So we got Orton after Christian, then D-Bry, and that leaves Cesaro and Sheamus to start. Yeah. And these guys do not hold back.
These guys have worked so extensively together over the years, haven't they? Because didn't we
funny, isn't it?
In the Rumble, they were brawling for a long time. Obviously, they had that best of 7 thing. They've been a tag team since then. But they seem to have been like fairly involved, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they've got a good extensive history together. Were they also in League of Nations? Was Cesaro in League of Nations?
Yes, that's right.
There you go.
Or was he? Yes. It was Rusev, Del Rio, Barrett. Sheamus, and Barrett, so no.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he was injured, because I'm sure he would have been a fucking shoo-in for that group.
He should have been, yeah.
Yeah, so these lads are just beating the living shit out of each other. Sheamus does the beat the chest thing.
Mm-hmm. 10 beats of the barrel.
There you go. Yeah, 10 beats of the of the chest.
Yes.
As it's roughly translated to that, isn't it? Why you just call it the chest?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Been brushing up on this, and then these lads just decided to be like, you know what? We could use the chamber as a weapon, or you could uppercut me, or I could just punch you directly in the gut right after.
Yeah.
Which is what they do, and then Christian comes out. No, Christian doesn't come out next.
Bryan comes out, and he does this super cool thing where he has the leg lock on Sheamus, and then he does a Northern Lights suplex to Cesaro while keeping that leg lock on. And two things. Number one, that's fucking awesome. And number two, that may be the last ever Northern Lights suplex.
In wrestling history? Yeah, once Christian went, it went with him.
There's a whole rake of moves that are gone, right? The Dragon suplex, the drop toe hold, the side Russian leg sweep, the pendulum drop. Like, you never see these anymore. Where the fuck have they gone?
Pump handle slam.
Pump handle slam, yeah.
Without the bumming.
Yeah.
It's
you know that two-handed choke slam thing that Kane used to do as well, and Albert did it for a while, where like you lift them up,
like sit down as well.
Yeah, that's gone.
DDP's spinning power bomb.
Yeah,
remember that? That's gone. The DDP punch, do a spin, clothesline punch.
Oh,
clothesline
that's really cool.
Christian's swinging DDT. Haven't seen one of those in a while.
Yeah, and you never see a reverse DDT anymore either.
Like the Scorpion Death Drop one. No, you don't. It's weird. And now it's all been replaced with more like top rope stuff, hasn't it?
Top rope, suicide dive, frog splash, super kicks. These are all like finishing moves that now everybody is welcome to do, it seems.
I feel like it's one of the reasons why 205 Live will never truly stand out, because majority of people in the main roster have wrestled that style now.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
So it doesn't look as impressive as like Mysterio in 97 against Eddie Guerrero when you see it on the main show. And then you'd have to be basically like really incredible to be on the Cruiserweight show and be like, holy shit, these guys can go.
It's really strange that all these moves have gone, though.
Yeah, it's just one of those. I think if you went back into the 6 or 7 years, you'd be like, oh, I see that the, the octopus stretch, that one? Yeah, it is one.
Fucking the T-bone suplex. Why is Roman Reigns not doing a T-bone suplex?
Yeah, do you remember the Taz one where it's like, someone goes to kick, you'd go to kick him, and you'd have the leg over the shoulder, and you'd fucking flip him forward.
Into like a fall-away type thing.
Yeah, I thought that was, I remember him doing it to Al Snow in the Fed, like the only time he did it. Yeah. Like stuff like that, it'd be nice to have like, just a bigger variety of moves to pick from for certain people, because I think it would make a lot of them stand out now, and even at this point, because like by Bryan doing the Northern Light suplex, I think Jericho used to do that a lot as well, and Benoit.
Yeah, and Benoit, yeah.
Holy shit, I once saw Benoit do like Eddie does the Three Amigos, and Angle and Benoit did the Three Germans. I once saw Benoit do 3 Northern Light suplexes.
No way, so that's fucking sick.
So like the move that you do, so you've got them like kind of hugging, and you flip them over, and you're on your back, right?
Yeah. And
you kind of have your legs sort of pointy up.
And sometimes they do it with a bridge, where they pin.
Yeah. That's right, yeah, that's what he used to do. And he then would flip his legs over his body again, so backwards, or forward, I should say. The other guy's on his back. And he'd lift himself up, do another one, roll again. Like, the fucking core strength to do that was unbelievable.
That's fucking sick. That's something that Cesaro should fucking do.
Definitely. He's probably the only person who could do it.
Yeah.
Maybe Angle a couple years ago as well. And yeah, so Bryan comes out. Now, I don't want to nitpick, but I will, because it's a review, and I wrote this down. So, he's got an injured shoulder. Do you remember the first move that Bryan does?
No.
Drop kick off the top rope.
Yeah, for fuck's sake.
Followed by a kip up. You're fine! You're fucking fine!
This is
unless that
classic Daniel Bryan, though. Like, he does that when he's legit fucking injured as well.
Yeah, that's very true, yeah. So I wouldn't expect him to keep it up kayfabe, let alone when he's legit hurt. But obviously Christian comes out, and this is when I was like, he is a heel, because he just starts beating the shit out of Bryan's shoulder.
Super aggressive.
It looks great. Like, you never see aggressive Christian in TNA. They gave him a good run as Christian Cage, and he was actually main eventing heel. Still a bit of comedy, but like never in the Fed. And this was just like, holy shit. Because obviously, whenever Christian's a heel, he's booked as a chicken shit.
Yeah.
Like with Orton for the title and stuff.
He's
And
he's billed as like a laughing stock as well, like
yeah,
the creepy little bastard thing, or the
CLB, exactly. Where it's just like he's one move away from like doing the whole running out of the ring thing.
exactly, yeah.
And yeah, Cesaro used some of that old plexiglass and just drops Sheamus in it with a sort of weird spinning suplex, like looked rough. Big Cena then comes out.
It's really cool when Cesaro goes for the swing on Christian, and Cena gives him a running crossbody, and then Cesaro launches Christian into the turnbuckle all in the one move.
The fans were going mental. Like the match base, and then Orton comes out as well. But like the match,
boring chance.
Yep. But fuck them, they were proved wrong because I think when they have them all in the ring, the match really picks up.
Yeah, it's Orton like kind of is boring, but is also not boring at the same time. It's very, very weird.
He is an enigma. He is a snake. He is basically very, very good. I mean, he's literally like you could give him the exact same treatment as your Roman Reigns and your Cena. It's like very good at specific things and then incredibly shit at other things.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there's anybody better at doing an RKO out of nowhere. DDP's Diamond Cutters never looked that good and that clean.
Yeah,
and that well timed.
It's also different. Like the Diamond Cutter is a standing move, the RKO is a jumping move. So
yeah, because the Cutter's more like a drop, like a quick drop, like a DDT, I guess.
Have you seen Randy Orton doing the angle slam?
Yeah, he did that for a while as well.
He did that better than Angle has ever done it.
Because then Kurt started doing the RKO in TNA as a transition move because he was very offended they started using his thing as a finisher. So yes, we have all the lads in, and to my shock, imagine my shock, after Cesaro gives Randy Orton 30 swings.
Yeah,
that's horrible.
Hate this move. I fucking hate it. I just am so fucking sick of it. It has been like 6 years of that in every single match. Like,
do you think it exposes the business? It exposes the business.
I'm just fucking sick of it. Like, how is anybody not sick to the back teeth of seeing this shit all the time?
It was cool. I think I say this every time you say that. It was cool to see it on Great Khali.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a couple of other people here and there.
It's also cool when he does it into someone else drop kicking the guy. That's cool too. Yes,
agreed. But it's just when I mean on this one because it was 30, I kind of got the kick out of it. But like I can see it has its it's a signature move though. It's like the people's elbow or the worm.
Yeah, I know, and
and it doesn't win matches, thankfully.
But at least both of those moves did, whereas this is just he's just swinging a guy around, and I'm sure it's horrible to take, and like I totally see its benefit, but it's just.
Do you see it on par with the airplane spin?
Like, Jesus, it's hard to even compare the two because Cesaro does this in every single match. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Fair enough. I did like the bit where Sorry, so actually, let me just recap quickly. Christian eliminated someone.
He certainly did, with a frog splash from the fucking top of the pod.
Yeah, I honestly thought Christian's going to get a fucking bro kick and he's done.
Oh, actually, before that happened, when Orton was cornered by everybody and he locked himself in the pod, and then Sheamus fucking bro kicked him through the pod.
Booted it.
That was awesome. That was so fucking cool.
That was amazing. I like that. He just boots it. 'Cause he like turns around. It's like, oh, fuck this.
Yeah.
And boots it. I mean, I'm not saying I would like genuine glass or even fake glass because that can always have problems in wrestling too. But like when it's just like a bit of giant glass breaking. I mean, I remember when Goldberg's just murdering people.
Yeah.
And it actually like breaks in half. I think.
Yeah.
When he spears Jericho, looks fucking terrifying.
That was excellent.
The only, like, the highlight of Goldberg's first run, definitely. Yeah, so we have here as well lots of exchanges, lots of reversals, kind of everyone's going for their finisher. Cena escapes the S-lock. He then has Bryan in the AA, but then Cesaro German suplexes Cena with Bryan on his shoulders. I thought was fucking cool.
I thought that was amazing as well. One of several like just great combination things that happens in this match.
Definitely.
And the Cena Kanrana appearing.
Oh god, the Cena can
followed by an AA to the outside, which was cool, and the worst STF in the world.
Oh, he did one on. I think he did one on Orton that was fairly tight.
He did, yeah, he did.
But Jesus Christ, the one he does on Cesaro, I'm thinking.
It is Cesaro, and Cesaro has to tap to it, which is awful because
God. Dreadful. So in between that, I should mention, Christian was quickly eliminated by Daniel Bryan with a running knee after he eliminated Sheamus. But the first elimination doesn't come in until about 25 minutes into the match, which is pretty cool.
It is cool, yeah. They were doing a lot of stuff like that around that time, because you remember the Shield Evolution match we talked about, where like 3/4 of the way into that, you're like, I thought this was an elimination tag, but it's clearly not. And then they do a clean sweep and just eliminate them all in one go.
Yeah, that was big balls on that. So Cesaro submits to the STF, and then we're left with Cena, Bryan, and Orton, and then they come out and get the bleh. Screen goes black.
And as soon as the Wyatts appear and start beating on Cena, the crowd goes, "Thank you, Wyatts."
Yeah. Did you like slithering Randy Orton, slithering in like a slithering little snake?
I've said this before on the Midnight Hour podcast, but I'll say it here. You know the way there are some people that are kind of icky, like where you know they've done some sleazy shit, like James Franco. You know the way all the allegations against him, and you see him in interviews and stuff, like you know he's definitely fucked someone and not been sure what their age was, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, the way Orton slithers in and out of the ring, there has just never been a more obvious sex offender.
It's very, 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 very much like a man slithering in the middle of the night all over the place.
Have you ever seen the video to a song called Lullaby by The Cure?
I have not.
Right, well, Randy Orton, you could make... the song is like this super creepy song about a spider / man that like kind of rapes a guy, and...
also known as Spider-Man.
But not actually Tobey Maguire.
Right.
But like it's like a weird like it's like drawing a parallel between a spider killing a fly and a person being raped. But like it's fucked up, and you could make a music video with that song and every instance of Orton sliding in and out of the ring.
Just in slow motion. Yeah, because he pushed his hand, slid on his knees, got the pin on Cena. So the Wyatts have already finished with the Shield. They've moved on straight away. No rematch here, boys and girls. Mm-hmm. Which in a way makes this match that we had earlier tonight a little bit more special.
Yeah, agreed.
Because you probably never will see it. You probably won't ever see it again because the Wyatts are completely separate now.
I think they did it one more time though.
Oh, did they? Oh, it's WWE. Of course they did one on Raw probably the following day. And,
then on SmackDown the week after that.
Yeah, and then they go like, now we're done. But obviously as the Wyatts are being told to fuck off, Kane comes out and tells them like, what the fuck are you doing? Get out of here, blah, blah. And then, out of what can only be described as, no reason at all, Daniel Bryan just kicks Kane.
Well... Kane.
I know they had their previous, but in this match, Kane's not really done that much to Bryan.
Yeah, but fuck Kane.
Yeah, fuck him. We're now left to 1-on-1, by the way. The crowd are going into a fever pitch. The marks will be ready to write the word buried.
They're chanting "You sold out" at Kane, which is pretty accurate.
Yeah, at least he's getting a chance to do with the situation he's in.
Yeah,
they're not chanting, I don't know, Isaac Yankem at him. Thankfully. So we go into the go home sequence. It is a knee, it is an RKO, which they both kick out of. Then Bryan, I think, hits another knee, and the ref's about to count to 3, but Kane pulls him out.
Mm-hmm. Bryan attacks Kane. Kane punches him, and then Orton hits him with an RKO. And it was an extremely fast-paced ending to the match.
What a finish, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they do the whole, the solemn cuts to the crowd. like, holy shit, like this is heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like the fans are really disappointed. But at this point, because Bryan came second to obviously last person eliminated, I should say. They're doing something here. Like
Hmm.
they wouldn't do this if the dude's in back to the mid card. Like I know they still have to go through Triple H, and at this point it looked more like Kane and Bryan than Triple H and Bryan.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they would have gone Punk, Triple H, Orton, Batista, Kane, Bryan, because they used to be a tag team as well. Obviously, all those at this point the plan's already changing. They're in motion to change. You know,
They fucking knew what they were doing here.
Yeah, once again, Bryan filled in essentially, not as in like he's a replacement, but like this is Punk's spot.
Mm-hmm.
Like finish would be Punk going for the belt. Kane does the same thing, and then he goes after Triple H after getting through Kane, and Bryan goes after Kane. Like some mixture of these four people.
Yeah.
Or he could have had a tag team match at WrestleMania, Kane and Bryan versus not Kane and Bryan, sorry, Kane and Punk versus Triple H. Sorry,
Bryan and Punk versus
Bryan,
Kane and Triple
fucking
H.
hell. Too many people. Some people are gone. That was the one. Yeah. So, what'd you think of this main event, though?
I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was awesome.
Same.
It's one of the things like, I guess we'll just do this match and then talk about the overall event. But it started out so good, and they let it build to the actual 6 guys in the ring. They all did some great combination moves, like we said. It ended really quickly, and even though it had 2 instances of invasions, despite being a fucking elimination chamber match, it still managed to maintain such a strong finish, and that's just a testament to how good everyone involved in that match is. So, also, isn't it great to see Christian in a main event match?
Yes, in 2014.
Yeah.
Fucking yes, like that to me was like the highlight of this thing. I was like, oh my god, there's my boy Christian. It's almost like a glitch. Like this wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
They just forgot. They were like, oh my god, he's in the main event now. Oh shit. Yeah, because this came out of nowhere. Look at the Rumble. Like Christian's is he even in the Rumble?
No, I don't believe so.
I think he comes back just to qualify to be in the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
So, and they could have gone with Ziggler, or they could have gone with a whole bunch of other people here, or Miz, or Henry, or Mysterio.
Brodus Clay.
Brodus Clay, not employed. Big E, whatever.
Darren Young.
Darren Young. Yeah. Half the split during this match.
Yeah.
They go into it, but even though realistically, the only 3 people that you think would win would be Cena, Orton, and Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
Because the other 3 are such good workers that actually made it that bit entertaining.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You can have your Kofi Kingston, you can have like people that clearly are only there to make the numbers, but if their bits are entertaining enough, it bridges the bit where it's like the Rumble, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
If the bit that bridges between the main eventers coming out and cleaning house. Like I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was far better than I expected, which is odd because I know all the people in the ring, maybe apart from Orton, are capable of going quite fast and going quite hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a strange thing. Like a lot of people say, Cesaro should be a main event like champion guy, and Vince has publicly said that he's just missing something, and I completely agree with that. Like I think he's spot on there. But when you see Cesaro in matches like this, is when he really flourishes.
Yeah, the problem is, I don't know if Cesaro is that interesting of a guy.
Yeah, no, he's just not. Like, he's sensational in the ring. One of the best around at the moment. But you couldn't put the company on his shoulders.
No, if wrestling was real, yeah, sure. But it ain't. And I'm not saying that, like, once he splits from the Sheamus tag, they'll split eventually, they always do, that, like, he can't get a singles run, and then maybe they figure out, like, actually, the best way to present you is just, like, you're a bad motherfucker who can fight.
Yeah, I mean, he could be a champion guy now with the brand split. Like, it's the brand split that leads to stuff like fucking Jack Swagger going into WrestleMania as the heavyweight champion, so.
Yeah, and exactly. So you could still potentially see him getting a push. I think he's in his late 30s, same as Sheamus. Sheamus got into the game quite late as well. But yeah, overall, as I said at the beginning, the highs were high and the lows were low, and I'd probably give this pay-per-view a solid 5 because I I hated Batista Del Rio. I hated Titus versus Darren Young. I hated AJ and the women's title like being just completely devalued.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like match by match. Like you have a match of the year in this fucking show. Like the Wyatts versus the Shield was incredible. The main event's a good like 4-star main event as well.
Yeah.
It's just that like, unfortunately, those two matches probably amount to about an hour and a half of pay-per-view, 3-hour pay-per-view, and then literally the other half of it, I don't give a shit about Barrett. I don't give a shit about who Miz thinks should win. I don't really care much about Rey Mysterio's opinion on most things, let alone picking Cesaro.
Yeah, because he's the least experienced one.
Yeah, don't get Rey Mysterio to like hire anybody.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's have a look at your CV there. Ooh, you've never done this job before.
You've never done any job before. You're hired.
Interesting. Yes. Look at how soon can you start. I mean, you probably have the most potential. You haven't done anything. Yeah, there's a lot of it that I could do without. Unfortunately, so the good didn't complement the bad in a sort of segue sort of way. It was just like, yay, yay.
Yeah.
It was just that. It was like either I was sat there bored and fucking bored shitless, being like, how many sittings can I just intake all this? Or like, oh my god, this is one of the all-time great pay-per-views. I love wrestling. Probably encapsulates 2014 in a snapshot there.
I'd actually be inclined to agree. I'd probably give it like a 5.7, like because it's close to a 6. Like it is worth watching an event that has the Shield versus the Wyatts and has this main event. So
definitely,
in that regard, yeah. But yeah, there are 3 matches that I was either indifferent to or bored by or outright angry at. So yeah,
including Barrett.
Yes, and the other segments backstage, apart from the Bryan and Christian interviews, were largely boring and stupid.
Yeah, didn't hear anything from Cena, didn't hear anything from Cesaro. It was very odd that, I think we mentioned this probably in the Raw and the other pay-per-view, like, there's a distinct lack of interviews and promos at them. I know this is pay-per-view, and I know there was promos by Barrett. I'm talking, like, the main players and stuff. It's been very, just let the action tell the story sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The Shield got promos, so they had loads of promos on Raw and SmackDown and stuff like that. I'm talking like the actual main eventers. It's weird that they've all been very quiet. And even though they did the whole like, Randy Orton, maybe you're not the guy we should get behind.
Yeah.
Didn't really see Triple H, didn't really see Steph. Kane helped them. So I know they might have been doing the whole like, haha, we were just tricking you. As in not Randy Orton, the other people in the match. But it wasn't like you saw a backstage segment where maybe like Steph starts talking to Christian or something.
Yeah.
They didn't really touch too much on that. It just felt they were going, oh, and by the way, Randy Orton could lose because we don't like him anymore. Okay.
They did a lot of stuff like that at the time. It was very strange. Like,
yeah.
Real, like, almost breaking the third wall, but not quite getting there. Yeah.
Especially with this first Randy run, which then leads into the Authority with Seth and J&J Security and Kane as well. Very weird, this sort of little period here in certain sections. But I would tell people to watch this, but at the same time, I'd also be like, by the way, I've done you a favor. Here's the timestamps you want to get to.
Yeah.
An hour and a half, and then the last hour with the main event. But otherwise, I'd be like, nah, you're right.
Yeah, I agree.
So, where's our journey taking us after this?
I actually don't know.
Could it be the stop before WrestleMania or the stop before WrestleMania?
I think, are we doing... I don't have the thing anymore because I deleted all the media off my phone. So
this guy.
But I think we might be doing Hijack Raw next, the Raw in Chicago.
Yes. Why don't you fill in for 2 seconds? Tell us about your life. I'll just go and look at it. You're right. March 10th. Hijack Raw. That's spot on, mate. Like, that's why you don't even need it.
Yeah.
You've got it in your brain.
Professional podcaster.
Yes.
That's another one that I watched live. I was in a place in my life where I could afford to watch Raw live.
that is either like on holiday or unemployed.
Professional
Or both.
YouTuber, which is just some combination of both. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a weird one. Yeah, you're right. It's probably somewhere in the middle. So yes, March 10th, 2014. We are very much on the road to WrestleMania. We are very much on the road to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yes, so
We are on the 7th stop on the road to WrestleMania.
There's just a couple of more stops until we get to WrestleMania Triple X, the Val Venus edition.
Yeah.
Porn for days. I'm just gonna final thoughts on this.
Jerry Lawler hard drive edition.
Yeah. That is a horror film that should never be made.
Yeah, certainly.
Yes, if you enjoyed the show, please like, subscribe, share, talk about it, think about it, take it home with you, overanalyze it. Just keep us in your thoughts.
Give us your energy.
Yeah, that sounds like Bob Geldof when he did the.
Give us all your money.
I think he swore. I think your fucking money.
Yeah, that's how he sounds.
Yeah, well, you tell me if that's not how he sounds. Then I
basically think you should all give us all your money.
And I think the same. I'll back. Give him all your money, everyone.
Yeah.
And while you're at it, while you're giving him loads of money for Live Aid, please drop us a like and a follow and a subscribe. We are on Twitter. All the links will be in the description. As always, just gonna say thank you for taking the time for listening and making it this far. Thoroughly enjoying this Daniel Bryan thing.
Yeah, it's so good.
And can you do you reckon if you played us out with Doomsday by Nero, would that be copywritten, or do you think it'll be okay?
It would certainly prevent people from listening to future episodes.
Because I'm trying to think, like, was that song really popular?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's definitely copywritten.
You know me, mate. I'm outside of culture. I've only just come across the Beach Boys, smashing couple of lads, I might add. Also, one of them was friends with Charles Manson.
That's true. He was originally the drummer for the band, apparently, or something to that effect. Or he maybe auditioned to be... No, he auditioned to be the drummer of the Monkees.
Oh, yeah. And then they were like, you've got swastika though, buddy. Back off. But yeah, thanks very much for listening. If you got anything you want to say to the peoples?
Merely just that I'm here to show the world. I'm here to show the world. Come on. Bring it on.
Bow, bow, bow. Yes, you can fade that out.
Yeah, that would be great.
Dolph Ziggler's theme.
The guy who wasn't even in the fucking event. Apart from when he won the tag team titles with Road Dogg.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I wasn't booked? Dun, 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 dun. Your ass better call someone. Yep, that was good.
That was good. Break it rules, break it ground, like a chance, now it's gone, on new train.